Have you ever found it difficult to approach women, especially one that you know was checking you out? She's looked at you, she maybe even smiled at you, and you know that she's interested, but you just couldn't muster up the courage or you're just too anxious or nervous to approach, and you ended up not taking any action at all. And then all of a sudden, some other guy swoops in, starts talking to her, and takes her away from you for the rest of your life. That's happened to you. That's also happened to me as well, and to many of us. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you a special hack that you can implement, especially with the upcoming holiday season, that's going to make it way easier for you to overcome your approach anxiety and meet new women and meet new people in general. And towards the end, I'm also going to share with you a special tip that's going to be a complete game changer when it comes to approaching women. So you're going to want to stay tuned in for that. So with that said, let's just jump right in. And so to kick things off, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to approach anxiety and how to overcome it is that we tend to think of it as I need to be confident, I need to look a certain way, I need to do all of this inner work before I can feel strong enough to approach someone. And in reality, working on yourself, that's fine and all. That might make things a little bit easier in terms of your mental confidence. But what a lot of people don't really talk about is how important it is to build what's called social momentum. This is typically something you see in the pickup artist community. And although I don't agree with a lot of the things that they do and their intentions with what they do, one of the things that really resonated with me is something called building social momentum. And if you're not familiar with that, it's essentially where you start building your confidence through socializing with many different people, not just women, but anybody that you're interacting with before you actually arrive at a party or even an event. And when you do something like that, it warms up your social skills. And most importantly, it gets you out of your head and into the present moment. And this is something I can absolutely relate to because this is actually something that we typically do. If you work in a professional industry, in corporate, I've been in corporate for over 20 years and have attended many workshops, many conferences, many events. This is something that just happens naturally because you're not just talking and socializing with coworkers and your boss, you're also networking with different teams, departments, potentially different clients, different partners that you've never met in person. But usually you're primed up for these events because you're already talking to your existing team members. So your mindset is already in that frame. And it's no different when you get into a social setting. And so you might be wondering, well, how do I start building social momentum? Well, the first step actually starts with your preparation at home and your journey from your home to whichever event or whichever place you're going to for that evening. And so typically what this looks like, it comes in the form of having conversations with your taxi driver or your Uber driver. That's a very easy way to just get your social skills going and to get yourself out of your head. You got to think, for a lot of us that are getting prepared to go out for the evening, many of us have just finished a long, busy work day. We haven't really talked or socialized to anybody on the commute home. We go home, we prepare, we have dinner. There's usually a few hours that passes before we actually talk to somebody again that we don't know. So talking to your Uber driver, your taxi driver on the way to whichever venue you're going to is a great way to start warming up your social skills. Now, in addition, once you arrive, what I always do is I always pick up a pack of gum at the corner store. And this is just so I have something to keep my breath fresh. I'm very particular about stuff like that, but it's also a great way to talk up the store clerk, talk to them about where you're going, ask them how their day is going, and get yourself in the social mood. And what you'll find when you start doing this practice of building your social momentum is after you do this 2 or 3 times, it could be with your taxi driver, then the corner store person, then maybe the bouncer or maybe some of the event staff who's at the party that's being hosted or whichever venue you're going to, you feel out of your head and more comfortable to just socialize, and you feel more ready to start approaching people, to start talking to them and having conversations with them. And this was especially true in the corporate world. As soon as, the workshops were done throughout the day, we'd go back to the hotels, get ready, go out to the dinner events, and you're already primed and ready to start talking to people right away. It's that much easier to approach people and to say, hey, how's it going? You introduce yourself, where you from, who are you here with, yada, yada, yada. And it just flows organically and naturally. And that's what you want, how you want it to flow. It needs to feel natural and organic instead of something that's scripted and forced. So once you start building your social momentum by the time you arrive at the party or at the venue, then the next step is start approaching anybody that you notice, you make eye contact. If they smile, just say, hey, how's it going? Introduce yourself. Are you ready for tonight? Or you look like you're ready to party. And anybody that you can talk to, especially like the bartenders or the door staff or even the event staff, continue building your social momentum and your comfort. That's going to keep you outside of your head and in the present moment. And then the other tip I want to share with you is, aside from just flat out approaching women right away, you don't need to do that. Start getting comfortable with just approaching anybody that you see looks approachable. It could be a group of people that's having fun, that's having laughs. It could be maybe a couple, maybe it's a group of friends that are just having some fun. But go ahead and introduce yourself. You may even want to compliment them and say, hey, I like your style, or hey, you guys look like you're having fun. What's going on here? And the big thing to keep in mind is that when you're going to social events, remember, people are here to be social. They're not there to stand around, to look at their cell phone, being that creep or bar star is what we used to call back in the day. People want to talk. This is why they're out. This is why they're drinking. Some of them need a little bit of liquid courage to get the edge out. But ultimately, everybody's goal is to have fun and to connect and socialize and potentially meet new people. Is meeting new women a goal of theirs? Yeah, but that shouldn't ultimately be your main goal. So go out there, build your social momentum, get out of your head, get comfortable, talk to anybody that you know that you can easily connect with, and keep building that momentum. And what you'll also notice, so part of the reason why building social momentum is important, especially once you arrive at the venue or the party that you're at, is that especially if one of your goals is to meet new women, think about the perception that creates when they see you talking to other people, smiling, you have comfortable body language, people are laughing at whatever you're saying to them. You essentially have status in front of them. They don't know who you are, but it starts to generate a little bit of mystery and intrigue in terms of, well, who's this person that's just a social butterfly? But it also makes you look more approachable and even attractive. And I've experienced this firsthand when I've gone out to parties and events and have started socializing with people. Sometimes the woman that I was attracted to is a friend of the group. They'll come up, start listening, start participating, then we get introduced, and that's how a connection starts. So when you start building social momentum and putting yourself in this situation, talking to other people, laughing, smiling, showing positive body language, women will notice that. And by the time you've built up enough social momentum and you want to approach those women, a lot of them would have already have seen you interacting with others, and you don't come across as that creepy guy who's been standing in the corner just staring at their cell phone or just eyeing up women and people walking by, being the only one that's not socializing in a social environment. Does that make sense? That will help kind of change your whole mindset when you're in these situations, especially if you want to approach women. You'll already have built the social clout and the perception in their mind that you're not someone that is dangerous, that's a threat, because everybody is willing to talk to you. They're smiling at you and they're laughing with you. And so they want to participate as well. Now, a few tips I'll share with you as you engage in this type of activity is, number one, I think this is obvious, stay away from any negative topics, specifically talking about an ex or even like politics. That's one that I stay away from. And it's crazy how some people will actually introduce that topic. I'll steer the conversation away, but people are very opinionated and heated when it comes to politics. And sometimes when that's introduced, it's hard to kind of recover the conversation and turn it back into a positive one. So I think it's common knowledge, but just stay away from any not negative topics and keep it light, positive, and fun. The other thing, now I don't personally drink. If you don't drink, that's ideal, but maximum 2 to 3 drinks, okay? If you need a little bit of liquid courage to take the edge off, to relax yourself, that's fine. But let's be honest here, nobody is better after 2 or 3 drinks when it comes to socializing. And the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you are belligerent, incoherent, and you are potentially at risk of doing something that could harm someone or put you into a lot of legal trouble, if you know what I mean. So try to limit the drinks, or try not to drink at all, because that's going to help keep you sharp and witty and funny and also present in the moment, right? Now, the final tip that I'll share with you, I don't really see a lot of people talking about this, but this is probably the most crucial point that you need to consider, and something that you need to change before you even go out for the night. And that is, instead of having your primary goal as meeting new women, change that to, I just want to go out and have fun tonight, okay? Because the biggest mistake that a lot of us make, and I've done this many times, is I would psych myself up before going out saying, you know what, I'm going to dress nice. I'm going to rehearse in my mind, what am I going to say? You know, how am I going to approach these women when I see them? And at the end of the night, if you end up not being successful, or if things didn't go as planned and your whole goal to go out that night was to meet women, you just feel defeated, dejected. It doesn't help with your confidence. And ultimately, it ends up not being a fun night, because your entire experience and all of your behaviors are driven towards meeting women. And that's something that you want to change at the beginning. So right from the start, set a goal that, you know what, no matter what happens tonight, I just want to have fun. I want to go and meet new people. And ultimately, I'm going to learn a lot about my ability to socialize and continue to improve my skills as I put myself into these situations. And again, remember, the places that you're going to for parties, pubs, social events, the reason why people go to these is because they want to socialize. They want to talk to you. And when you build that social momentum, and especially if part of your goal is meeting women, when women see you being a social butterfly, when they see that you are approachable, that you naturally have conversations with people, that comes across as someone who's confident, someone who's positive, someone who's fun, and they want to talk to you. They want to get to know you. And let's be honest, there's many guys who are so scared to approach women that by the time you approach them, they'll be so happy that finally someone has the courage and the confidence to actually just have a regular conversation with them naturally and organically. So I hope this information finds you at the right time, and I hope if you guys are going out, it's the weekend, or even for the holidays, that these tips help you make new connections and even potentially helps you find that new woman that you can start dating in the new year. If you have other ways that have helped you overcome approach anxiety, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. But again, thank you so much for your support. It's so great to be back, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.